going on, guys? So today we're going to be covering another installment of Shikamaru Shinden Mourning Clouds, which for those of you guys who are new to the channel, or if you accidentally stumbled across this video, this is a Naruto light novel set in the Boruto era between the events of the direct aftermath of the versus Momoshiki arc and just after the ending of the Mujina Bandits arc. I highly recommend going to the homepage, looking at the playlist I have on the channel, in particular, look at the Naruto novels that are set in the Boruto era. By the time you guys are seeing this, the videos for Shikamaru Shinden will be on the channel, so there will be a playlist for you to click on. Watch those videos and get caught up. That way you're not lost. But with that being said, we're going to jump right into this installment of Shikamaru Shinden Mourning Clouds. So this scene right here, we're about 80% done with the novel, and I have to say, for me, by the time you guys get through with this scene right here, if you're somebody that's on the fence of where Naruto ranks as Hokage, this is going to be one of those times where you are going to put Naruto as your #1 Hokage in terms of everything Naruto gets done. Like, when we look back, when Naruto is hopefully 97 years old by a freaking miracle of genetics, because this dude is eating ramen 7 days out the week. The fact of the matter is that as he's sitting in his rocking chair and he's looking out at Hinata's grave, when this happens, Naruto is going to be able to reflect on all the different things he did. So it's not going to be something as simple as, oh, Naruto used Baryon mode and he was able to protect the world from Ishiki, which is a really big deal. And Naruto was able to protect Konoha from Momoshiki, which is also a really big deal. Naruto was able to do all these amazing things as Hokage. However, this is probably going to be one of those moments that really stands as a testament to how great of a Hokage and how great of a leader Naruto is. Because in this moment right here, Naruto, who had already previously talked about the fact that he did not want a war to break out between the 5 great nations, and because of everything that's going on with the Feudal Lord in the land of Earth, that he really feared that there would be war. He did not want Boruto to experience what he experienced by watching Neji die in front of him. He wanted to spare Boruto and his generation that pain that came from war. So what happens in this scene is the Continental Summit, the very first of its kind, where you not only have all of the feudal lords of the 5 great nations, but you have the feudal lords of all of these smaller countries that are on the continents. They've all gathered. There's this huge arena where everybody's on there. There's roughly about 10 rows of tables that separate the feudal lords from each other. And there's this huge podium, this huge stand for them to get on and talk. And you got like the screens behind them. It's a really big deal. Well, the feudal lord of the land of Earth begins talking. And as he's talking, Naruto almost forgot he was Hokage for a second. And what I mean by that is Naruto's clenching his teeth. He's got his fist balled. You can tell in this moment, Naruto wanted nothing more than to walk up to the feudal lord of the land of Earth and just rock the feudal lord right there. Two-piece this dude. And Shikamaru has to catch him and say, people are watching you, calm down. And so you kind of see that Shikamaru is there to kind of reel Naruto in. And it's because Shikamaru understands something that you should have seen in the Sasuke and Shikamaru video that comes up just before this one. Naruto has to keep his hands clean. Shikamaru and Sasuke have to be the ones who act from the shadows. They can't let Naruto sully himself. And so what happens in this moment is you have the feudal lord talking about how ninja, their only real purpose is to go into battle. It's what they were bred for. It's what they were built for. It's how they were raised. And when Shikamaru is listening to him talk about how the two parents of a ninja get together because of the benefits that can fall apart that child, because you might pass on, say, a kage genkai, and that child goes to academy and they learn the violent art of ninjutsu and battle. They're taught thousands of ways to kill somebody. Shikamaru has a time where he's like, man, I can't really argue when he says that the purpose of a ninja is to discover their true meaning in life through battle. And it's what's pissing Naruto off, because Naruto believes in ninjutsu. And so as the feudal lord's making this strong case about the fact that this time of peace has diluted the ninja ranks, it's kept ninja from being able to serve their true purpose to the world, which is combat and fighting. As this is going on, Mirai, who is one of Naruto's Hokage guards, is watching Naruto very closely because you can tell Naruto's about to break. And then that's when we get this scene here to where Ikkyo, the feudal lord of the Land of Fire, knows that like, hey, I got to come in clutch. Like, I got to be like Kobe Bryant coming in to take over the game at the last second to win this game for the team. And so what you see is that Ikkyo understands, well, I'm about to get double teamed, but maybe I can throw that lob to Naruto and I can let Naruto bring us home, but I at least got to push the ball down court first. Well, Ikkyo takes the stage and he gives a truly beautiful speech, and he sets the stage for Naruto to speak in front of the feudal lords and all of the other countries that have gathered there in order to avert any type of crisis that is going to befall the country if they do vote to go to war. Because the way this is set up, if half of the countries reject Konoha's proposal for peace, which is essentially give up some of the territory in the Land of Fire to the Land of Earth, which was really territory that they had themselves, where when the Land of Earth lost in the war against the Land of Fire years ago, there was part of territory on the Land of Earth that technically belongs to the Land of Fire that they have. Well, what we get right here is Ikkyo gives his speech and he has in his mind, I cannot fail. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to read the scene from the novel, and then I'm going to come back to you guys my thoughts. And again, this is probably Naruto's biggest moment as Hokage. So with that being said, it's going to be here I'm going to begin quoting. Ikkyo's voice was quieter and weaker than Danjo's, which came from the bottom of his stomach. The softness of it settled deeply into the entire venue. Right now, all the daimyo of the continent are gathered here, regardless of their size of their nation, rich or poor, strong or weak. We come together now as comrades, working on behalf of our respective countries. Fortunately, there was not a single daimyo who refused the call to be here today. This is truly unprecedented. Every daimyo on the continent coming together to discuss a single issue. Perhaps some have considered the idea before, but they thought such a summit would be impossible to realize, and so they gave up before they had even started. But today, we have just made a meeting reality. Everyone in their room held their breath so as to not to miss a single word spoken by Ikkyo. Ikkyo's gentle speech had drawn them all in. We could not have managed this historic feat without someone making that first move. In fact, the war we discussed would have already started a long time ago, a month ago, no, 10 days. And if everything failed, even a day ago. I know someone who has brought us this time, someone who has fought desperately right up to the last second to prevent a war however he could. Something warm tightened inside of Shikamaru's chest. I am indeed the one who advocated for this meeting, but what I did is truly insignificant. My decision to cede the Land of Fire's territory was a product of watching one man who would fight until the bitter end. Someone who could never give up even if he was forced to crawl. Compared to this brave soul, I have done nothing. I have never sweated blood to make something happen. Not in the way that he has. My father was the daimyo of the Land of Fire. I have merely run along the rails laid out for me. I've never had to fight a stronger power or run the opposite direction on those rails. But I feel that by watching this man fight, I have changed. Now I would push back against any rapids, no matter how they rage, if it meant that the world could remain at peace. Ikkyo said. Here at last, Ikkyo raised a hand. His fingers were pointed towards Naruto. The man who has changed me is a ninja. A man who rejected the fight, who fought against war harder than anyone I've ever seen before. A man who struggled valiantly up to the last moment to avoid a fight. A man who Lord Danjo said could only live in the midst of a fight. This man is a ninja. This man is Naruto Uzumaki. A clamor rose up in the venue, and Ikkyo was silent for a moment as he waited for it to calm down. Then he slowly opened his mouth once more. Can we truly say that the only way to fight is by carving flesh and breaking bones? The ninja who has changed my life and my heart is a man who worked to find his way from one harsh environment to another, and yet no matter how difficult of a position he found himself in, even if it was a situation in which your average person would simply give up, he never lost faith in his victory and charged ahead at full speed. And this is indeed the figure of a fighter, but his fight did not lead him to blood, did not lead him to tears or bodies in the end. It led him to this summit right now. The passionate spirit that lives inside of this ninja does not exist solely for the purpose of hurting others. Now that I myself am changed with him by my side, I can say that with utter certainty, a light shone in the eyes of the fire daimyo. It is precisely because ninja are the ones on the very front lines of war that they desire peace more strongly than any of us here. Here, Ikkyo smiled. Rather than me going out at length, there's someone here who can communicate to you much more clearly than it is that I wish to say. So I would like to hand this baton to him now. May I do so? Applause erupted from the arena. Naruto, Ikkyo called. End quote. So what I love right here, first and foremost, right? That is one hell of a speech by Ikkyo, man. Like, that is a beautiful speech. It is perfectly crafted. It's a great counterbalance. And when Shikamaru's getting ready to leave, he takes a cigarette because Shikamaru literally has a line in this novel where he's like, checkmate, because he takes a cigarette and he looks at the other leaders of all the smaller countries and he's like, listen closely to what my Hokage is about to say. And he's like, he's not the best with words, but listen closely what he has to say. And as he begins to start smoking a cigarette, right? As he's smoking a cigarette and walking out the arena, Mirai asks Shikamaru why he's leaving, and Shikamaru literally says, when it comes to words, there is nobody who's gonna outtalk Naruto. Our Hokage is an idiot, but quote, no one can beat him when it comes to heart. Brace yourselves and listen. That right there, that says a lot. That says that for all the talk no jutsu memes, Shikamaru and Ikkyo understand that if you can give Naruto the opportunity to make his cry for peace, Naruto can bring about peace to this world. He inspired somebody like Ikkyo, who was the son of the previous feudal lord, someone who came from a life of privilege. He's inspiring him to be a better version of himself, and that's the true testament of a leader. And the fact that Naruto could make that appeal to all those people in the audience right now, what that tells you is that Naruto has that quality of a leader that you cannot teach, which is making people want to willingly run through a brick wall for you, run through a fire for you. And that's what I love about this scene right here. And the fact that Ikkyo, someone who holds higher rank than Naruto, bowed his head and humbly asked for Naruto to be the one that brings this whole situation home at a summit where the feudal lords are the ones that are speaking. The Hokage, who answers to the feudal lord, is the one giving the closing address. That is beautiful right there. It's beautiful symbolism. So what I want to know from you guys is, where does this rank in your opinion in terms of the biggest moments of Naruto's Hokage? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.